Hi, welcome to the Green Liberal Democrat booth for the online autumn conference for the Liberal Democrats 2020. This may be the first time you've come across the Green Liberal Democrats, or you may have known about us for a long time. For those of you who are new to the Green Liberal Democrats, let me just say that we have been going as the environmental conscience of the Liberal Democrats since 1988, since the party was formed. And right at the outset, we managed to get a sentence put into the preamble of the Constitution, which acts as our philosophical guide, if you like. Let me read that to you. The preamble states, "We believe that each generation is responsible for the fate of our planet, and by safeguarding the balance of nature and the environment for the long-term continuity of life in all its forms." So that is the central theme of what Green Liberal Democrats are about, and it educates the way we approach policy formulation and how we interact with the party and how we interact outside the party with non-members. We will have, or if you come to this later in the conference, we have had a number of fringe meetings at this conference. And over the summer period, we put our own conference on. We had over 40 events. So we are very active within the Liberal Democrat movement, within the Liberal Democrat Party, and we hope you will participate. There will be more to follow, but this is just to welcome you to the booth and say I hope you're having a good conference. If you're not already a member of the Green Liberal Democrats, then you should join us. And it's very easy to do. You can do it online. You need to go to www.greenlibdems.org.uk and you click on the green button which says Join Liberal Democrats, fill in the various forms. Okay, we're going to hand you over to a group of us now to talk a little bit more about the Green Liberal Democrats. Janie, over to you.
Hiya, thank you very much for having me. Can you tell me a bit about what sort of things the Green Lib Dems have been getting up to recently?
Well, let me start by answering about the festival of green events we had over the summer. It was intended to replace a physical one-day conference, and it ended up being 16 days of events. And we had lots of different events. In fact, I'm going to invite Mary to tell us about one of the events that she enjoyed most, and then we'll go and see what Pippa enjoyed.
There were a couple of fantastic films shown where we watched a film together and then commented about the impact that those environmental projects might have. And I remember about a project with solar panels in Bangladesh, whereby microgrids could be organised, and that was phenomenal. If you can do it in a country like Bangladesh, why on earth can't we have microgrid systems here, where solar power on one roof from one house can provide clean energy for their neighbours or their neighbourhood?
Pippa?
Well, there were a couple for me. One was Jane Goodall, and she just wowed everybody. What an icon, and she enchants, she charms, and she's just compelling. You know, telling the story of her life and the impact, and also her message about young people, you know, really getting involved and being the ones that can be the ambassadors and the champions for the environment and for climate. The other one that I really enjoyed was about women in politics and women in environment and politics. And that was a fascinating session as well. And then we also got to ask our contenders for the leadership of the Lib Dems about their environmental credentials and what they thought about their key messages, and really put them through their traces as well.
And Jason, what were you going to suggest is our best foot forward in the summer?
Well, I concur with Mary and Pippa, actually. Dr. Jane Goodall was the standout performance of the whole thing, and considering that she interrupted a family gathering and just off the cuff spoke to us for the best part of an hour, it was totally captivating. The other thing was from the 2040 film about green, using cattle and livestock as environmental producers and promoters, because they are producing dung and they're churning up the ground. So it's not competing and fighting with livestock, it's actually using it as a plus for the environment.
And I'm very happy to say that we've got Jane Goodall speaking again at this conference. So if you want to join us on Monday at 12 o'clock, we have Jane Goodall speaking to us for 50 minutes. Janie, back to you for the next question.
Yeah, thank you. So beyond all these sort of brilliant events that you've got going on, what do you think are the main reasons why members of the Liberal Democrats should come and join you at the Green Lib Dems?
Pippa, will you take that answer for us?
Well, it was almost the other way around, Janie, because it was because of the Green Liberal Democrats that I joined the Liberal Democrats, because I needed to know that the Liberal Democrats had good green credentials and had environmental ambitions, and how they were pushing that agenda within the party. And that's how I came to join the Green Lib Dems, when I read the stuff that they're doing through the Challenge magazine and through the different events, and also their mandate. And that mandate is to push the green agenda up across all of the issues that we're, fighting for, liberal values and radical liberal values, but not just within our party. The ambition is then to reach out across with other parties as well in the Progressive Alliance, I would say. So yeah, that was what it meant for me.
Jason?
Likewise, I joined the Liberal Democrats actually before I discovered the Green Liberal Democrats. I went to my first conference in 2017. I've only been a member for a while. And when I went there, it was kind of like Freshers' Week at a university. For anybody that knows what that's like, you go and sign up to everything and then you let something slide. The one thing that I signed up to that I have obviously become more committed to is the Green Liberal Democrat movement. The fact that the Green Liberal Democrats got the sentence into the preamble to the Constitution for the Liberal Democrats is absolutely testament to why we are the green conscience, and hopefully soon the green backbone of the Liberal Democrats.
Excellent. And Mary, what was it that attracted you to the Green Liberal Democrats?
I've been in the Green Lib Dems almost as long as I've been in the Lib Dems, and that is from 2007, so 2007, joined the Green Lib Dems, and I've been on and off the executive in all that time, organising conferences, organising events, getting speakers in from the renewables energy sector, in from other technology speakers, because I think the thing that really does well for the Green Lib Dems is about that pragmatism of what's possible now. What is the technology that we need to help us deal with these massive global challenges of climate change? But how can we make it easy for individuals to take small actions because we provide them suitable renewable or green industry technology?
Janie, the next question.
Thank you. Yeah, so our party, and definitely you're really championing it in the Green Lib Dems, are incredibly ambitious for what we can achieve globally and nationally in terms of our climate policies. So do you have one policy that is maybe Lib Dem policy or Green Lib Dem policy that you think is the single best thing that we can be fighting for right now in the middle of coronavirus in order to help promote the green cause?
Well, probably we should single out universal basic income, or sometimes called unconditional basic income. That would have answered if Rishi Sunak had introduced that instead of the business-focused furloughing scheme. It would have actually protected more people. But I'm going to go to, I think, Pippa first for the things that we ought to be doing now.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about the coronavirus, so it's about the green recovery. And so the single most thing that also came out of the Dr. Jane Goodall talk, and we all coalesced together, but we've now done that at local level, at local government level. So we've taken something we've talked about in the Green Lib Dems, and we've brought that to the local council, and we've had that adopted, and it's now happening at the regional level. And that's the doubling nature strategy. Because during the pandemic, during the lockdown, what we've seen is the importance of access to wild open space for mental and physical health, and the terrible inequality around that access, that not everybody has that access. So when we're talking about well-being, it's about getting that access. And so, you know, in our area where I am in Cambridgeshire, we are the poorest in terms of biodiversity and tree canopy coverage in the UK. So even to double the nature that we have, we wouldn't reach the average that the UK has signed up to for the Aichi biodiversity targets by 2020. We'd be way off even then. So, and it really galvanizes people. People like this idea of doubling nature. If you're doubling income and economic policy, then you're doubling nature at the same time. So that's something that we've done, we've adopted, and is just roaring at the moment. Yeah, it's great.
Okay, briefly, Mary, then we'll hop back straight to Jason and then go straight back to Janie.
I'm absolutely with you on the biggest single difference that we could make in this country would be adoption of a universal basic income. The reason being is that we've seen through COVID that the one thing that we have in common with other people is that we're all human beings, and that our lives matter, and that our lives should matter. The same with Black Lives Matter. We've understood that there are people's lives who seem to count less in this society than others. If we have universal basic income and we give people the confidence that they have a place to live, they have enough food on the table, then actually they can start taking the actions that, when you don't have those things, seem to be so difficult. So recycling would become easier because you would be more secure in your home life. Using less energy can become easier because of the fact that you have a home that is well insulated. All of those things around that can make such a big difference, and in particular will make a huge impact in women's lives. And I think women can play such a big part in getting a better deal for our planet.
Jason?
I absolutely agree. One of the things I think is one of my local focuses, trying to push our local borough and county, is for local generation of green energy. I'm pushing a campaign to start urban solar farms, taking unused or flat or nearly flat roof spaces for large big box supermarkets and stores, installing solar panels onto those and collectively generating in an urban environment so we can protect the rural environment.
And let's make this the last question, Janie.
Brilliant. Yeah, so I know that in the Liberal Democrats, we've got so many great policies like the ones you're laying out, and hopefully we will see universal basic income pass at the conference. But how about on the other end? So what can we as grassroots members and as individuals, what can we do that's going to make the biggest impact as individuals? Because obviously we're in a situation now where we don't have a lot of national influence, but we've got a lot of council seats, we've got control of councils, and we've got big grassroots swathes of activists that we can mobilise to really make a difference.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head, and next year, 2021, is going to be a huge year for local elections. So we need, if we're going to change the world, we need actually to be in there making decisions. And I think we need to go to local elections as being the key events that we can influence from an environmental point of view. Mary, do you want to pick up on that one first?
Yeah, it is all those small acts. I have a Twitter account that focuses on one kind act. I try and do a random act of kindness every day. And I think in relation to the planet, if we do a random act of kindness every day towards the planet by just stepping up our own levels of recycling. I've started using an electric bike to get into town rather than using my vehicle all the time. Just being present and thinking about the acts that we take, picking up that piece of litter that somebody has just tossed aside, going for litter picks, which is what we've done through COVID, through the lockdown. Those simple acts of caring for our community and caring for each other are going to make the biggest difference to the planet.
Jason?
I think, Janie, you hit it on the head. Localism is where Liberal Democrats shine. It's where our strength is. Any project that is local, that makes a difference to the environment, we should get out there, we should get involved in. not because we're Liberal Democrats, but because we care. You know, we lead by example, and when people see us doing something and they say, "Oh, that's that's a worthwhile thing to do. I really value that." Then we can have a conversation with them about our wider values, about liberalism, about progressive policies.
And Pippa.
Oh, and Janie, so, getting people elected is really important. So in South Cambridgeshire, we now govern and we run the council. And the difference that has made from day one is that we have a zero waste policy. We have the zero carbon strategy. We now have its sister document, which is the doubling nature strategy. And we have got a zero carbon communities grant, which all of the villages are now competing almost to see how much they can contribute to the district-wide zero carbon target. And it's this sense that parish councils and community groups are all coming together to see what they can do. And that's around cycling, that's around tree planting for the carbon sequestration, that's around some of the allotments in terms of the circular economy and the food storage, and then a lot of the solar together, which is where, coming together to do the community auctions for energy and solar projects. So it's just being in control and changing things through leadership is just so brilliant that we just got to say, work together, get us elected, because we can make that difference.
Okay, I think we're going to call that a session. Thank you very much, Janie, for asking the questions. That was brilliantly asked. Thank you, Pippa. Thank you, Jason. And thank you, Mary. And we'll hand you back now to start all over again. So if you're interested in taking the step of joining the Green Liberal Democrats, you need to go to www.greenlibdems.org.uk, press the green button and join here. If you're already a Green Liberal Democrat member, there are lots of things that you can get involved with, and come and see us when the booth is actually open. So thanks one and all. We'll wave to see you off and hope to see you again soon.